evening, cult members, and welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is going to be our review number 2 for the night. And this one is going to be a non-spoiler review for El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. And you have to say
Camino.
It like that. Actually, when they announced it, okay. I'll tell this part first, then we'll go on to the other part.
Okay.
When they announced El Camino, and that it was called El Camino, all the things that going on in my head from Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
El Camino is the main character.
Yes.
in this movie.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. For at least the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the actual El Camino. It's the actual car.
Yep.
It's the one. It's not spoilers because it's on the poster, but it's the car that Jesse drives away from the end of the last episode.
Yeah.
And so it plays a major part in like a lot of stuff that happens in this. I want to talk about this part first. We knew about this movie long before maybe the public was known about, because we had friends who directly worked on this movie.
They're on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, and then they were on this.
Yeah, and then they were on this, and they we maybe drunkenly one night at an event, somebody said, "Oh, we just got done doing the Breaking Bad movie." What was that? Well, we should sit over here and talk. Oh, I can't really talk about it. No, we're not talking about it. So we're refilming. And so we were super excited about it. And then they announced it and we saw a trailer. And the marketing campaign has been really interesting with it because they were really kind of just leaving hints about what this movie was going to be about and not really giving us a full trailer until like, a week ago or 2 weeks ago? Whatever.
Yeah.
And some people have said this is an epilogue to the series.
Yeah.
And I totally get that.
Yeah.
I see it as a backdoor pilot, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Well, Aaron Paul and the director,
Vince
Gilligan, both have talked about what happened to Jesse for several years because it's been a huge fan topic.
Yep.
And Aaron Paul actually at one point a couple years ago said, I envision Jesse, he got away, he found a new life and he started over again. And I think Vince has been saying all along that they weren't going to do another.
I have read multiple things with him saying, I would think about it, but I liked the way we ended it.
Right.
That's pretty much what he was coming down to.
Yeah. And so that explains, because this movie doesn't, we were saying it last night, it's cool, it's awesome, it's shot great, you get all the fan service that you want, but it's probably not really needed. It didn't didn't resolve a whole lot. It didn't really add anything to what my mind story already had.
Your headcanon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already had,
I'm struggling with this because I loved this movie. Like, I really loved what they did and how they did it.
Yeah.
And give Aaron Paul more roles.
Yeah.
The dude can freaking act.
Yeah.
He's not just some, he played this kind of dumb idiot kid on Breaking Bad
in the beginning,
but by the end of the show, like there's stuff that happens in this movie where I'm just like, the Academy is fucking calling.
Yeah,
like, that kind of stuff.
He's got some serious PTSD, and I mean, he's and
he handles
crying
it
and
so good.
Yeah.
But I struggle with this because, like you said, I don't know if this was needed.
Right.
I'm happy our friends have jobs. I'm happy that the creators were comfortable with telling the story. I'm happy with the way they executed it. Like everything is absolutely totally positive in every direction. It wasn't something for me right now as a Breaking Bad fan that I was clamoring for.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of said, although it is an epilogue and it does kind of put a nice bow on that part of the story.
So the fans that are clamoring can shut up, I guess.
Yeah. But it does feel like if you want to come back in 5, 6, 7 years and tell the story from that point at the end of this movie moving forward and the consequences of everything that goes with that, I think that would be a really fun series to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like Better Call Saul kind of thing. I'm thinking like an 8-episode Netflix original inside the Breaking Bad universe with Jesse, but things kind of go a little sideways for him eventually coming, like everything finally coming, because it all throughout history, your past always comes back and haunts you.
Right.
And this would be a great way to kind of tell that your past coming back and haunting you.
Yeah.
And not being in New Mexico. You know,
Yeah.
and
A different. But then if they aren't in New Mexico, our friends aren't going to have jobs. They're not moving to Alaska.
No.
Spoilers. He ends up in Alaska. Yeah, considering how they left the series and they left it that way for so long, and then, fan service decided to do this movie, which again kind of ends the ending. I don't see them, I see them just, and that's it.
And that's it.
And he rides off into the sunset and lives out the rest of his life, way less eventful than the last 5 years spent or whatever.
Right. And I appreciated some of the things they did do. They showed it in the trailer, so it's not a surprise. But we get Badger and Skinny Pete back, and they're exactly
the same.
Exactly the same. There's some other fan service stuff. If you can put two and two together, you can figure it out. But the storytelling process that they used was really interesting because they were flashback scenes.
Yeah.
But they weren't like obvious flashback scenes. Now the lighting was different in the flashback stuff than when it was the current timetable.
Yeah, honestly, there was a couple of times, especially until I figured that out, that I was like, "You're dead."
Yeah.
And then I figured out, oh, okay, we're doing some back and forth stuff because
it was almost like how in a book you have one chapter is the current timeline, and then you do a flashback chapter.
Yeah.
And it was almost like kind of that back and forth storytelling, which I really like. I don't know if this would have worked on the in the movie theater as a big. I mean, it got a theatrical release, but it was released on Netflix, and so that concept of the back and forth storytelling, I don't think would work on a major scale in a theater process. I mean, fans are smarter than that, but I think it would have been a harder struggle, especially. This movie is not made for people who haven't watched Breaking Bad. You have to have had a deep philosophical conversations about what the ending of Breaking Bad is with your friends. They actually
you need to know Breaking Bad. Otherwise, I mean, not just the ending, but the whole show.
The whole show, yeah.
Because otherwise, nothing is going to make sense. Because it really picks up right at the end, and just extends the story out another couple of days.
Yeah.
So, you don't understand why there's this picture of this woman and this little kid, right? You don't. What does that have to do with anything, right? And some of the characters and stuff, you just don't understand why.
They did a good job. They did a recap. Like a 2-minute recap of the entire series. right before it started playing on Netflix, which was nice because we weren't going to re-binge all of Breaking Bad in the timetable to get ready for the movie.
Right.
And watch it this weekend.
We heard it was coming out like maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like the date. And we were like, oh, we're not going to get through it in time.
Yeah. So I was glad that they did that. So they were able to refresh us with that stuff.
Yeah.
And then they were able to refresh us in some of the flashback stuff.
Yeah.
And that really helped too. And I keep going back to this. I really loved this movie. Like, I was really happy with it. The way it's shot, there's some driving shots that we know the boom operator on the set, and we know the guy who builds the sets. I mean, it's not sets, but it's like the camera. That's what Matt does, right? He builds the camera booms and the racks and everything for the cars and stuff. Matt does everything for the show.
Sure.
So there's shots going on, and I'm just like, I know who did this.
Yeah.
So that's even a bigger draw for me. But it's just I just can't get away from the fact that I love this movie, and I'm still like, I don't know if we really wanted this or not. I don't know if I wanted this story. I kind of liked, my favorite ending of a TV show ever was The Sopranos.
Right.
I loved, because I love that, just leaving it open-ended. And Breaking Bad did the same thing. And Lost kind of did the same thing too. Just leaving it that open-ending kind of feel.
Yeah.
And so as much as I love this, the performances and how it was done and everything, I'm left with that kind of.
I just kind of think. I mean, it was fine. It was how they wrapped it up or moved it along another couple days was fine. I think what gets you is that it's a movie, except it is in no way, shape, or form a standalone movie. Like, there's no real beginning, middle, and end. There's no philosophical conversation that you're going to have from this. It's just another couple of days tacked on to the end of Breaking Bad. And I mean, you find out what happened to Jesse in those extra couple of days, but if you've never seen Breaking Bad or only seen a few of them, this movie's not going to make any sense to you. And it's just, there's no way it's a standalone movie. And I think that's kind of what messes with you. You're like, it's just a really long episode.
it is a really long episode, and I'm trying to, like, as you're talking, I'm wondering if they could have broke this up into like a 4-episode miniseries or something like that. But then even that, I don't know how they would have like done it with the way it's structured right now with the flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I think the length was fine. It's
like an hour and a half or hour and 40 minutes.
I think what we need to do is we just need to go back and rewatch Breaking Bad from the beginning to the end, and then just continue and just
into the movie
and just one long.
Wow, it's 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah, I knew it was 2 hours. One long, encapsule of Breaking Bad, and maybe it'll flow a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe. Let's give it a score.
You
want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
I'm at a 4.
Okay. I was going to say a 3.5, and I thought that might be high, but all right, 3.5.
She hates this movie.
Did you watch our last review?
Right. We have been talking about this on our reviews, and we'll continue with this kind of theme. As much as I love this, it's not a revisit kind of thing for me unless we do the full binge.
Yeah, I think it's a must-add to the end of your Breaking Bad binge.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is our thoughts on El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie starring Aaron Paul, who is, if we haven't said it already, freaking amazing in this movie. Give him all the roles. So let us know what you thought of the Breaking Bad movie, and tell us what MCU character you think Aaron Paul should play.
Oh, jeez.
And go. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, help us out on Patreon. We're going to be revamping some stuff on Patreon here pretty soon. Follow us on all the social media stuff, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff is in the description down below. And until next time, if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.